Alrighty, so what a start to a Saturday morning. I I think I called it pretty well, where I said we were going to be at war last night, early this morning, and we are. It's almost like, excuse me, it's radically almost like Iran never fucking learns. We bomb Iran. Iran, their hatred for Israel is so great, they immediately fire 1,000+ things at Israel. And they have no ability to strike our carriers. I mean, they do. Let me not say they don't have any ability to strike our carriers. They do, but the likelihood of them striking a carrier is very minimal because that carrier is surrounded by a bunch of ships. And we're gonna just keep hitting Iran until they don't have the capability to fire any more shenanigans towards anybody. This is a really, really, really big and problematic issue because what's our end state? What's our victory condition? And the problem is we don't have one. We don't have a victory condition in Iran because we believe Iran is building a missile capable of striking the United States. Okay. We don't want Iran to have a missile capable of striking the United States. Okay. We don't want them to develop nuclear technology. Okay. So what does that look like then? Do we bomb them back to the Stone Age? We eliminate their ability to produce electricity in any way, shape, form, or fashion. We force the entire country to go back to the caveman era. Like, as a military guy, I don't know what the win condition is. It's like Israel has been in the Gaza Strip now for a little over 2 years. Their win condition for them is pretty evident. They're just going to keep going until they kill all the Palestinians, evidently. Russia, I was looking at some military reports earlier this morning. Russia, in an entire year, claimed 0.74% more land. Yeah, ultimately, I guess at the end of the day, if we're going to try to stop, if we're going to attempt to stop this shenanigans, we're going to have to just be over there perpetually. Like, we're not going to have a choice. We're just going to be there until a puppet regime is in place that fully supports us. I don't know what the I don't know what the outcome is. But I do know that if any American thought that life was going to get easier, it's not. There's not going to be a life getting easier because we probably burned, I would estimate, 500 billion so far in Iran. Yeah, good Saturday morning. It's a good morning Vietnam. Like, I don't think people realize how expensive our munitions are. And we're going to burn through tens and hundreds of billions of dollars very, very rapidly in the Middle East. Yeah, it's so worrying what this will mean from short term to long term. Like, you're shocked Dubai got hit? Well, Dubai got hit because they're a soft target and they're allies of the United States. See, good morning, Adaptable Fox. If you have not watched movies throughout modern history, the Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio is a terrible fucking adaptation. It's absolutely terrible. But the piece where it's really good is Tempt Not a Desperate Man. If you put Iran's back to the wall, they have no qualms about firing missiles into any country that supports the United States. I saw a story an hour ago about Russia joining the fight. That would kick off all kinds of shit, wouldn't it? If Russia were to intervene in the Iran issue, then that would mean the United States, we're talking politics because we can't not talk politics with what happened last night. But if Russia were to intervene with Iran, the United States would then very easily be able to support Ukraine militarily because there's Russian forces in Ukraine. And if you have forces in a country that I can hit, well, then I'm going to hit them. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a really smart reason for Putin to open himself up to retaliation by getting involved in Iran. Putin doesn't like Trump. Putin doesn't like Trump. Putin controls Trump. Putin doesn't like anybody. Vladimir Putin doesn't fucking like any. All he cares about is his legacy and expanding the motherland. That's it. That's all he cares about. We're in a fucked up world now. It's and as always, it's got to get worse before it can get better. With that said, it would be really nice if, sometime in my life we could have world fucking peace, right? Maybe just a little bit. Maybe a little bit of world peace. Not asking much. Maybe I'm asking too much. I just would like to wake up in the morning and not... We had it until COVID. We didn't have world peace, but I would say that before COVID, we were as close to world peace as we were going to get. Absolutely. I hope that Israel did not intend to hit that school, though. Well, here's the problem with war. Not everybody shares the same beliefs in what we should hit and what we shouldn't hit. I think it's morally deplorable that you hit a school. Absolutely. There's always going to be the flaw of collateral damage. How do you get peace when they're training, brainwashing children to hate the USA? Every politician is saying death to USA. for years. How do you request peace when they're doing angry desert people stuff? Well, here's the problem, and you got to look at it from the other side. Why would they not be screaming death to America? It's not exactly like we can treat them fairly. It's not like, yeah, we've been bombing, we've been interfering in the Middle East for 46 years, 47 years. On top of, if you factor in Iran feels that if the United States is going to have the Monroe Doctrine and tell everybody that they're not allowed to meddle in the affairs of the Western Hemisphere, that then by what right does the United States meddle in the Middle East? In some ways, this is what I've talked about my entire adult life. We need a country in the Middle East to become a superpower, so that they can control the Middle East, so that the rest of the world doesn't have to. But the problem with that is, and this isn't bigotry, this is the way it is, the two major factions of Islam have been killing each other since Muhammad died. Because, and you have to understand that where the Sunni and the Shia come from was the succession of who should lead Islam after Muhammad's death. That shit is 1400-ish years old. And the United States and Europe and Asia thinks that anybody is going to be able to go in. Like, you're literally talking about 85 to 90% of the Islamic world is in arms against 10 to 15% of the Islamic world because of the right of succession of the leadership of the religion. No outsider is going to solve that. How large is this map? So this playable map is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regions, if I remember. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's 6 regions. This part of the map is all developed. You just can't access it on this campaign. This is the last part of the map that they have to develop. If you play on SCP, you can play the whole map, but it's different scenario, different rules. So it's a fairly large map. This is about the size of the map that I think would work for a CK3 based game, which I started writing the rules for. But no, we need, like, there's no good part of life right now, and that's, I think we're at a dangerous part. As you saw yesterday, somebody came to my show and they're completely ignorant about their own country's history. And they're mad because they're accusing America of shit that the facts don't even support. Your CIA told us for 10 years to have men in the forest and we would support you. Really? Because for 2 years and 9 months of that time period you just quoted, there was no CIA. So who was telling you that? See, I don't mind if people are brainwashed. But the moment you're confronted with evidence that says, hey, you're brainwashed, stop talking and start reading and figure it out. But that's hard for people. That's very, very, very hard for people. Admitting you're wrong is very, very hard for people. Like yesterday I had to. My brain went down a rabbit hole that was the wrong fucking rabbit hole, and I was like, oh yeah, the USSR didn't exist then. Yes, it did. It existed in 1922, so it existed then. We all make mistakes. But as I've said, the really dangerous part to me is that far too many people, they're ideology is becoming their identity. And when your ideology is your identity, then any attack on your ideology is an attack on you. And so your ego, not your personality ego, but your id, ego, superego, the ego's job is to defend your id and the superego from harm. And being wrong intellectually is processed as harm. Lithuania was, you never came and freed us. We never said we were. You had a policy of confrontation. No, we had a policy of containment. Your misunderstanding is clearly part of your ideology. So yeah, I woke up this morning. I saw that we're at war. It's pretty clear that it's going to be some serious. It's really, really clear that the way that the Navy has positioned the two carriers, we're looking at probably a 72-hour continuous operation. When you have two carriers close enough, or they're probably not right next to each other, because that would violate a lot of naval doctrine, but they're probably close enough where one is flying the defensive air cover and one is flying the offensive sorties. And then every 12 to 16 hours, they're switching roles, because the number of people you have to have. Oh, why am I not grabbing the wall? The number of people you have to have up and awake to run defensive sorties is much fewer than the number of people you have to have up and awake running offensive sorties. So if I had to guess, the two carriers are operating on 16-hour shifts with 4 overlapping. And then when they switch roles, that's when everybody else is getting chow, getting sleep, taking a shower, all those things you have to do in order to operate for 16 hours a day. And if that's the case, you're going to be looking at a lot of shit in Iran getting blown up. I'm surprised that Iran managed to hit the U.S. base in Bahrain. Well, that's because Iran launched over 1,000 things. Iran saturated the airspace with drones and missiles. Yeah, it was. If the intel report I read just before the show was correct, it was 1,000 ballistics. It complemented between missiles, rockets, and drones. And what that does is that clogs up the airspace. I do not think that they could hit one of the carriers, because in order to hit one of the carriers, you would have to fire an awful lot of stuff, and you would have to engage air to air. And Iran knows in air-to-air combat, because remember, in order for Iran to effectively attack a carrier group, they're going to have to launch helicopter-based attacks, because those can stay near the surface of the water. And then you're going to force the Navy, through any one of its means of engagement, to engage those helicopters. But you're also going to have to attack the carrier group with fighter aircraft. And when you have, remember, a fighter aircraft has a number of hard points for weapons. Your fighter aircraft, in order to be a threat to the carriers, have to be flying with anti-ship missiles. The problem with anti-ship missiles is now you're engaging with anti-ship missiles against aircraft that are in a pure air-to-air configuration. Keeping in mind also that we moved an undisclosed number of Raptors into the airspace, meaning the Navy is perfectly capable of defending its own carrier group. this next comment isn't in any way, shape, or form a dig on the U.S. Navy. They can absolutely defend their own carrier group. But if the Air Force has F-22s in the airspace, nothing Iran puts up in the air is going there. Iran's not going to have a catch team for their. They're not going to have a recovery team on the tarmac for the jets they put up, because those jets aren't coming home. All you're going to have, if Iran commits fighter aircraft, the only thing that's going to happen is maybe a couple of Air Force pilots become aces today. And that's really it. It's not a brag. It's not a boast. The F-22 pilot will be like, well, I got my 8. Yeah, it'd have to be pretty dense. And that's where the big piece comes in. You would have to saturate. You would have to absolutely saturate the conflict zone. Now, am I saying it's completely impossible? No, because remember, a Serbian shot down an F-117 by pure luck. But luck isn't really a, how shall we say, luck isn't a doctrine you want to subscribe to. If the British are assisting, I was not aware that the British were assisting. Again, it's not a politics day. I got up, I did a couple of bits, and then I wanted to do my stream. As soon as Rail gets online, we'll knock out some dungeons. But yeah, luck isn't a winning strategy. Luck can save a man if his courage hold. 13th Warrior, really great advice. But you don't base a strategy around luck. And unfortunately, some people don't like me when I say it this way, but at some point, the United States is going to have to face a really harsh reality. Where Gandalf and our list of allies has grown thin. I don't know which countries condemned us this morning, but I do know some of the countries that condemned us were probably allies or previous allies, because you're supposed to declare war. If you made me king for a day, I would rescind the War Powers Act. I would rewrite a War Powers Act that makes sense. But the fact that Donald Trump can commit 2 carrier strike groups, hundreds of other aircraft, Patriot missile batteries, and he doesn't have a declaration of war, that bothers me. It really does. And it doesn't bother me that Donald Trump can do it. It bothers me that any U.S. president can do it. We're supposed to go to war when it makes sense to go to war. I don't exactly understand the why we're going to war with Iran. Because they're developing ballistic missiles? Okay. I could No, it doesn't make sense, because, and here's why. They're developing ballistic missiles. Okay, they're developing ballistic missiles. If our Congress feels that them developing ballistic missiles is such a threat to the United States, then why doesn't our Congress give the president a declaration of war so that he can then have the full range of all options on the table that he doesn't have on the table under the War Powers Act? Because He can't occupy under the War Powers Act. I mean, he can for a short period of time, but the War Powers Act allows him to operate for 60 days with a 30-day drawdown. If our country really felt that Iran was a major problem, then the president, during the State of the Union address, could have just pointedly asked for a declaration of war. If we want to do regime change, we shouldn't be doing that anymore. It's not for us to decide who should lead a sovereign nation. If we feel that Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthi rebels, the anti-Western pact being picked off one by one, Russia and China are losing another anti-West partner. This is good for Ukraine, Iranian people, and Middle East, and the Western world. No, it's not. First of all, the anti-Western pact, let me just put it down. The whole world, 100% of the world versus the US in a fight. Let's just get to the worst case scenario. The whole world versus the US. Non-nuclear. The US wins with 25% losses. And we body the rest of the planet. We lose 25%. So we would lose 3 to 4 carrier strike groups. Absolutely. We would lose thousands and thousands of sailors. Absolutely. There's nothing we can do about it. But the US versus every other military on the planet, we win and we only lose 25% of our military. That is... Who gives a shit about this anti-West idea? They can't do anything to us anyway. Russia went from being the second most dangerous military on the planet to being the second most dangerous military in Ukraine. Are we afraid? What are we afraid of Russia? Like, is that where we're at? Are we still afraid of Russia? Russia's at the point now they can't even recruit any military to continue their campaign in the Ukraine. China's not a threat to the United States. China doesn't have a deep water navy. They have deep water ships, but they don't have a deep water carrier. Without a carrier, you can't project your naval force more than 450 miles off the coast of your country. And that's only if you have airfields on your shoreline. But if you put airfields on your shoreline, those become very vulnerable to Tomahawk strikes. So, did I see the government is labeling the AI supply chain risk? Yes, I did. And unfortunately, as they should be. You forget that the U.S. position in this world is thanks to their allies in Europe, the Middle East, and the Far East. No, let me stop you. No, I don't forget that, because no, that's not true. That's not true at all. This is the United States. We are a war-forged. We are a war-forged nation. Out of 250 years of American history, we have about 13 that we haven't been at war. Our position in this world is not thanks to our allies in Europe. Our position in this world is thanks to Europe mismanaging Germany not once, but twice. Our allies in the Middle East. Sure. Saudi Arabia. Oh, wait, that's right. Saudi Arabia wasn't a strategic partner of the United States. Saudi Arabia was a strategic partner of our oil companies that helped them form the Arabian American Oil Company. Our allies in the Far East. Which allies exactly? Japan? We subjugated them by dropping nukes on them. South Korea? We subjugated them by stopping North Korea from taking them over. It's not that I forget anything. It's that I don't accept people's claims that we are where we are thanks to anybody. We are where we are because the United States is very much like Sparta. 250-year history, roughly 13 years of peace. War is our business. You remember the end of Dune 2? Dune 2, Chani says, this is none of your business. And he says, this is all of my business. War is our business. We have 11 carrier strike groups. We have 12, but we have 11 fully operational today. The rest of the world combined has 11, and 2 of them can't leave shallow water. China, people say, well, China has more ships than the United States. China has 800,000 metric tons of military naval vessels. America's active combat fleet right now is 3.2 million. Fucking get some. We don't count cutters as naval military combat vessels. China does. China has an awful lot of shallow water speedboats with 50 caliber machine guns mounted to them. That's where their count of we have thousands of boats come from. You could send 100 of those against a cruiser and they don't even have weapon capability to damage the boat. They might kill a sailor up on the deck. They might break lights. They might break a satellite dish. But as far as sinking the boat, 50 caliber rounds aren't punching through naval vessel armor. So I don't forget that our position in the world is thanks to anybody. I'd like to point out to you that we went into World War II or World War I and we bled and died to save Europe. We went into World War II and bled and died to save Europe. We went into Vietnam because the French got massacred. I think it's really important for people to understand we don't forget our allies, but a lot of our allies don't act like allies. Now, a lot of Americans do forget some important things, and I'll call out my American brethren for forgetting to call the important things. The only time Article 5 has ever been used was in defense of the United States after 9/11. Sure, absolutely. And a lot of Americans are like, well, European countries didn't send as many troops. That's true. They didn't send as many troops by number, but that's because their militaries are a fraction of the size of ours. You have a small country with 63,000 troops and they send 6,000. That's a fair contribution. I'm not going to dismiss a 10% of your military commitment. That we have to look at it from two sides. That's not the size of our contribution, but it's also not small. EU has... Okay, first of all, the EU is not a country. First of all, the EU is not a country. European country is like Lithuania that has 63,000 people in it. It does matter. Let me help you out with something. You have more people. You have more people total. You don't have the military hardware. What? Let me ask bullshit straight up question. We were talking about countries. US versus the world, we win. No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't lose. Let me ask you a question. What is the rest of the world's counter to the B-2 bomber? Which country can counter the B-2 bomber? Without nuclear exchange, we win. Hands down. Hands down. Let me help you out. One carrier strike group in the opening salvo. How Dude, you're being fucking dumb. One carrier strike group, opening salvo. 360 strategic targets eliminated per carrier strike group. We have 11. That's 3,600 strategic targets eliminated. Some countries don't even have 3,600. Yeah, against the whole world, dude. I've done the scenarios. Multiple people have done the scenarios. Our allies in war games have done the scenarios. One carrier strike group, one U.S. strike group against Britain. Britain's navy is gone in 36 hours. Britain cannot, the second best navy in the world openly admits their navy's gone. So what happened in Afghanistan? What do you mean what happened? How long did it take us to win in Afghanistan? 2 years. With all of the restrictions that we had. We weren't in Afghanistan to exterminate the Afghani people. We were in Afghanistan to find one terrorist asshole and then win the hearts and minds of the people and bring them Western democracy. That's not what we would be trying to do in an all versus us war. We wouldn't be trying to win hearts and minds. Dude, I want you to factor in something, and I don't think you get it. You went to exterminate the world during... No, I didn't say that. I said in this hypothetical situation of the rest of the world versus the US, we win when we take 20% to 25% losses, 15 to 25. You don't in a non-nuclear war. In a nuclear war, we win outright. We missed the guy. Where the fuck did we... Oh, there he is. This is what people have to realize. I don't want war. I did that shit for 15 years. I don't want people to fight in a war. But a lot of people have to come to the realization in a war, right? The United States wins against everybody else. You're like, we have twice as many ground troops. Yeah, those are ground targets. What do they do against the B-2 bomber? By the way, we have enough of them to obliterate 28 capitals. Nobody can see it coming. Sure, so other countries are like, we have this great jet. We have this great jet. We have this great jet. We jailbroke the F-35. Sure, 100%. Admit that I forgot which leader of what country it says that says we're going to jailbreak the F-35 so we're not beholden to American support. Great, but you do understand that there's a button we press and it disconnects your F-35s from the integrated information net. Thank you. Also, little things. 25 capitals isn't... okay, after 25 capitals are obliterated, that's not 99.99%. There's about 186 countries in the world with militaries that are even bothered to be recognized by the U.S. 25 out of 186 doesn't leave 99.9. So you're not actually interested in having a legitimate argument. You just want to be like, you can't do it. Fine, then be like you can't do it, but don't expect me to treat you seriously. Because you're literally dismissing the idea that, do you think that Great Britain would fight the United States? The answer is no, they would not. Why? Those countries have more cities and areas, only their capitals. Is the U.S. taken out when you carpet bomb Washington? No, because our military infrastructure isn't in Washington. Does Berlin fall if does Germany fall if Berlin is bombed? Yes, it does, unless your military leadership is already somewhere else. Remember, the United States operates on a different doctrine than most other countries. Once we wind up the military and give them orders, you can get all the way down to the Secretary of Urban Development. And the military is going to be like, great, we don't give a shit who the president is. We're still operating on the orders we were given. The problem is you don't want to face the reality. Yeah, we don't have to kill every single member of Germany. We just have to cripple their relatively small military. What can Germany do against a carrier strike group? 360 strategic targets. That's all of your air defense gone. Now we don't even have to worry about devoting F-22s to your theater because you have no air power. In that 360 targets that we hit, that's all your airfields. That's all your command and control. That's all your power generation. Okay? This is the thing that people have got to realize. The US hasn't been allowed to fight a war the way we want to fight a war since World War II. And we have a lot better toys now. I don't want war. I want fucking peace. I want to live in a world where I can wake up and know there's not a likelihood that we're going to have a war that affects my family. France, the Netherlands, and the UK can do something about the carrier group. No, hold on. Guys, give me 1 second, because I can't stand people like this. I really can't. You say France, the UK, and the Netherlands can do something about that carrier strike group. Here's what you're not hearing. It's not France, the Netherlands, and the UK versus one carrier strike group. That's Britain's Navy versus one carrier strike group. That's France's Navy versus one carrier strike group. Because we will send an independent strike group to take out both of those countries. If the whole world woke up tomorrow and said, all of us versus the US, Britain gets a carrier strike group, France gets a carrier strike group, Germany gets one. Germany has to deal with the fact that they declared war on us and we have troops and aircraft in their country. England has to recognize they declared war on us. We have airframes in their country. You can't take out countries with what you have now. No chance. Are you dumb? Seriously, are you dumb or are you trolling? Look at what we do. You need boots on the ground. No, you don't. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We don't need boots on the ground. Our stockpiles are not depleted. Where the fuck do you get? No, they're not. Our sellable stockpiles are depleted. You understand that by law, we cannot sell under a certain quantity of armament. We sold the Ukraine everything we were allowed to sell by law. The U.S. military, the U.S. government, literally sets legal minimum thresholds, MELs, mission essential levels. We cannot sell into that stock. And our stock is for 2 Gulf War size engagements and 6 regional engagements. That is our minimum stockpile. We cannot pierce that minimum stockpile. Meaning, you go back to 1991, when our military was way fucking bigger, and you see how much ordnance we shipped, times that by 2. And then, might as well times it by 4, because 3 regional engagements is about 1 Gulf War size engagement. I'm sorry that if you think your common knowledge has any validity, but we literally don't sell the shit we need. Also, how long do you think it takes us to tell our defense contractors, we need 3 shifts a day, this is the size of the order? If we really wanted to, we can build an entire year's worth of armament in about 8 weeks. Yeah, what about it? I have read it. I know exactly what article this is. And what? Did you think? Yes, we can. Jesus Christ. Dude, no, I'm not coping. I served as a logistician for the last 10 years of my career. I was a contingency planner. I've looked at MEF packs. I've looked at resupply capability. I've written war plans. We all have to. In the hypothetical, there's no nukes involved because nobody wins. Nobody cares logistical manager. That's funny because lots of famous generals have said, I don't know what this logistics thing is, but I want more of it. Here's the other thing. You're such a fucking dumbass. You're a waste of my time. Goodbye. I can't handle dumb fucks. Literally, that person hasn't read von Clausewitz. Karl von Clausewitz was preaching about the value of military logistics, which is why logisticians have to read on war. Sun Tzu was preaching about logistics. Salahuddin preached about logistics. Every military leader. Yeah, logistics don't win you the battle, but they win you the war. Abso-fucking-lutely. An army marches on its stomach. Absolutely. Which is why wars are won with beans, blankets, band-aids, and bullets. If you look at shit, this motherfucker, I hate people like him because they're just dumb. They literally want to be like, you have to put boots on the ground. Do you? You have to put boots on the ground? I'm pretty sure that you can just aerial bombard. You can just aerial bombard your target. Because if you don't give a shit about occupying it. That's what people don't understand. The scenario isn't the US conquers the world. The scenario is the rest of the world decides to power check the US. It doesn't happen. You think Poland, real talk, you think Poland's gonna give a shit? Poland's like, we just bought 60 billion of your hardware. We're not fighting you. It's like the guy yesterday trying to explain to him. It's not about, we don't want you to spend money for the sake of spending money. We want you to spend money so that our NATO allies, so that we have time to get there. Yeah, destroy the capability to move the enemy and see how much I need boots on the ground. Yeah, you've got 60,000 troops. Are they stuck in your country? Yeah. Do you have any boats to bring them over here? No. Do you have any planes to bring them over here? No. Well then, why the fuck do I care if you have 60,000 troops in your country? Why do I care if you have 100,000 troops in your country? This is why the United States has been allowed to get too powerful. But Donald Trump is finding out we're only too powerful militarily. President Obama, I think, was a stronger president because of his ability to negotiate. His ability to get people to do what needed to be done. Now, I don't agree with all of President Obama's choices. I think Obamacare was terrible. But we've got these people that, like, these are the same people that they're the tough talkers who say, well, if a guy put a gun to my head, I would still tell him to go fuck himself. Okay, cool. You'd be dead. Good plan. But you'd be fucking killed. There wouldn't be anything left of you. But good plan. People around the world listen because Obama was respected. Yes, absolutely. The jester skin? Yeah, I like that. The speak softly and carry a big stick doctrine works, but it only works if people believe you'll use the big stick. President Obama inherited the Afghan war. He wanted to bring Western democracy to Afghanistan. Unfortunately, he didn't read any of the fucking history about the Afghan people. The Afghan people weren't interested in Western democracy. They weren't interested in Western freedom. They weren't interested in Western ideals. The Iraqi people weren't interested in Western democracy. They weren't interested in Western ideals. So you can't bring a level of freedom to people if they don't want it. And we're doing it again. We're doing it again. We're trying to bring Western democracy to Iran. They don't want Western democracy. Yes, this is only, this entire game is cosmetic. NetEase has shocked me in the last 2 years. NetEase has moved almost all of its games or all of its new games to straight to straight cosmetic modeling, and it's working. Now, I personally feel that their prices are too high. The game is fairly popular. Unfortunately, if you only look at the Steam charts, it doesn't look like it's popular, but it has its own launcher. So, I imagine there's probably still 500,000 people playing this with as often as they push content. And of course, you won't see the Chinese numbers because we have no way to vet the Chinese player base. Which, speaking of Chinese companies, I cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait for all the Ashes of Creation fiasco to get into Discovery. Oh, I can't wait for that. Steven having to prove that Tencent was interested in the game. Nope. Bad place to die. That's the worst part. That's the worst part about all of it. The employees at Intrepid got completely boned. Damn it. Couldn't pick you up because of those other guys. He'll probably say he deleted those emails. Well, yeah, that's gonna get stupid. I did see that Afghanistan attacked Pakistan. Pakistan attacked Afghanistan. That's gonna get ugly. Why do I not like the Affordable Care Act? I don't like the Affordable Care Act because people that actually understand the Affordable Care Act understand that the crisis that we have in America right now is based around giving insurance companies too much power. You don't want... If you want all of your people in your country to have health care, you provide them health care. You don't make having health insurance mandatory. That's not a good... Why am I not vaulting? Oh, I bet you I have auto vault off. Yeah, it kicks the can down the road. It doesn't solve the actual problem. You don't want, like, for example, a long time ago in a land far away, the military used to provide all the healthcare to all of the soldiers directly on the base. But then, because every American military base was designed and it had a hospital on it, because if there was an occupation of America, you wanted each of your military bases to be able to function independently. Well, the problem is, as years went on, we got rid of a bunch of specialties. So now you had to send your military members downtown in the local economy. Well, the problem with doing that is you're stuck waiting on availability. Well, when you, as I've said numerous times, I want every American to have health care. I want every single American to have health care, but we can't do it for 35 years because we don't have enough doctors. What happened with the Affordable Care Act is a lot of people suddenly were told you have to have health insurance. So now they pay for health insurance premiums and they have shitty health insurance premiums and they can't afford their copays. Well, great. You set up the whole system to force them to have health insurance, but they can't afford to use it. Friend of mine, really shit-shaped life, has a douchebag of a husband, doesn't take care of his kids. She got her health insurance. She makes about $800 a week. and her health insurance for her and her 4 kids is $800 a month. Who the fuck can afford that? That's not affordable health care. The point of the Affordable Health Care Act should have been to subsidize hospitals that are providing health care to people that can't afford it. If you didn't see, J.B. Pritzker just bought up $1 billion of Illinois citizen medical debt from debt collectors, and it cost the state $10 million to pay it off. Well, here's the thing. If it costs $10 million to the debt collectors, the hospitals must have sold that debt for 5 cents on the dollar. If you can afford to operate by only getting 5%, then you could charge 5%. Is it not a risk from the military not to have hospitals on base in case of war? No, it's not, because the likelihood, first of all, we have contingency medical facilities. We could stand up if we needed to, but we no longer operate on a doctrine that anybody's going to invade the United States. We're no longer afraid of that doctrine. Instead of building hardened bases in 50 states in America, we built 11 carrier strike groups. In order to land troops in America, you have to bypass 5 carrier strike groups. You have to fucking have parachute troops landing in America. And let's be honest, if somebody was dumb enough to put boots on the ground in America, that country wouldn't have to just contend with the US military. You would have everybody with a gun going out there to defend the country. Yeah, but that's not the case. The people that paid their bill in full allowed the hospital to be able to settle for pennies on the dollar. Well, right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, number one, as I've done the example a bunch of times, an MRI should only cost $2,500. But because the Affordable Care Act allows for insurance companies to only pay 75%, then what happens is the price of an MRI goes up. But then when you pay cash, you pay the cash price that's factored in to allow the insurance company to pay their 75% and the hospital to still operate. Well, that doesn't help the cash person. We need to just get to the point where we have government-run hospitals, but then who are you going to get to work there? See, therein lies the problem. Every medical school has a person with the lowest GPA. When you go to the doctor, do you want the person with the lowest GPA to be your doctor? I mean, if they're qualified, sure. But it's a problem that needs a lot of consideration. It's a problem where we need to figure out, how do we best solve this problem? The damn administration load for all this has got to be huge and expensive. Oh, it is. It absolutely is. And that's where we're just stuck. You don't think it's 500,000? My server is dead. Your server may be dead, but there's a lot of servers that are populated. If you're on a permanent server, your server has a higher than average chance of being dead, because I've noticed the permanent servers aren't as popular. The other problem is, like the title of today's show is, they have all the right parts, but they can't piece them together. Why does Once Human still struggle? It still struggles because there's not enough content to get me to log in daily. Now, I will get back to logging in daily. I've just been playing through a really long CK3 campaign. And my family is going to be gone tonight, so I'm going to have a bunch of hours to play tonight, too. Doing well in law school does not equal doing well in law practice. Kind kind of, sort of, but honestly, doing well in law school, I would not say that C students make the best lawyers. Having known a bunch of lawyers, having been pre-law, knowing the people that I went to school with, I'm going to disagree with you that C students make the best lawyers. I'm simply going to say I don't agree with you. Some C students turn out to be really good lawyers. Some A students turn out to be really bad lawyers. But I'm going to disagree with the idea that C students make the best lawyers. I don't agree with you. I know lots of people that ended up going on to law school and they have very successful like criminal defense practices. One's an environmental lawyer, not because they needed to be, because they wanted to be. I do know a couple of the people that were the bare minimum bobbies in pre-law school. They didn't do well in law school, but they turned out to be decent lawyers. But that's like everything else. Your education doesn't always give a 100% true to person gauge. But I would think if we pulled the numbers, we would see. You have some standouts in both directions, but grades generally give you a good average. Now, what I will say, to put that in line with you, kids that go to the Air Force Academy are some of the absolute worst officers I've ever seen. Had Ashes launched and met expectations, would modern day military strategies and tactics win out in PvP engagements? Probably not, and here's why. In order for an MMORPG to properly replicate strategic level, objective level, or operational level and tactical level, the people that coded it have to be familiar with those terms. If the people that make your video game aren't familiar with modern military doctrine, then they can't make a game unless by absolute luck that fits the mold. There wouldn't have to be permadeath, but your sieges would have to be designed around the one death and you're done, or one death and you don't respawn for 15 minutes. Most people don't give a shit about throwing their life away in a video game. Right. Which is why I've been playing with a morale bar. I'm writing an MMO just for fucking shits and giggles. But I'm writing a morale bar where the morale bar is a universal buff for your team. And so if your team starts taking attrition, your morale bar drops and you start to then be at even more of a disadvantage, so you're not zombie rushing. As far as Ashes of Creation, though, Ashes of Creation was always going to be a shit tier game. It was always going to be a shit tier game because the creative developer was a power gamer, pay to win, buy people monkey. His vision was going to be the absolute wrong vision, because he wanted to have a game built for him. He's like Walt Disney in the regard of Walt Disney wanted a train, so he built a train in his backyard. Okay, well that doesn't mean just because you have a train in your backyard that you could then suddenly compete with the Union Pacific. Steven was a very unique type of gamer. He was never going to be able to build a game that was going to resonate with the common working man. When we tried to pin Steven down on certain things over the years, like the primetime window, Steven talked about the primetime window, and he said, well, I don't know what time it's going to be, but probably like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Steven, the common working man who you need to have for your game, because your game is going to have a subscription, is still at work at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, you can't have primetime start. Like, Steven, you've never had a 9-to-5 job. You don't understand that you don't... Like, EVE Online is great. Let's keep it real for a second. EVE Online is great. for certain people. EVE Online is not great for other people. Parents, right? People that are going to work and school. EVE's not good for those people. I remember I'm laying in bed years ago. This is fucking 20 some, probably 20 years ago, 19 years ago. No, it'd be about 20 years ago. I'm laying in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning with the girlfriend. And my phone rings. And I'm like, who the motherfuck? It's my home phone. So there's only a handful of people who even have this number. My home phone rings. I pick it up. And it's a friend of mine telling me that they're in the middle of a hot drop and all of their exit sinos have been blown up. And I'm like, motherfucker, it is 3 o'clock in the morning. I have to get up in 3 hours. I'm a fucking teacher. Why the motherfucker are you calling me to tell me your emergency sinos were blown up? I don't fucking care. I don't care. I hung up. Motherfucker calls me back. Dude, we have billions of it. I don't care. Dude, and I just unplugged my phone. I don't fucking care that much. I have smoking hot redhead in my bed. I have to go teach this morning. I don't give a shit about your electronic little ships. I don't care. But that's the level of insanity from some EVE players. I realized that it had become a problem with EVE. We were in the middle of one of the high sec wars, or I'm sorry, low sec wars, the null sec wars. And it was my fourth day in a row. And people on comms were giving me shit. They're like, dude, when was the last time you were on a kill mail? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you haven't been on a kill mail in like 3 days. And I'm like, motherfucker, I haven't even undocked out of the station in 3 days. Because I ran our logistics. Every day I was logging in and I was buying all the parts and setting up all the shipping orders and jumping the jump freighter out. Yeah, I called at 3 o'clock in the morning for a video game. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this shit. I'm done with this shit. I'm like, I said, guys, the ship replacement fund is moving from instant to weekly. I will dedicate 1 day a week. And then we're still in this really long campaign. And I got home and it was a Friday and I was taking my family out to Hibachi. When I lived in Kansas, we had a brilliant hibachi place right around the corner from us. So I usually got on the game at about 5:36. I said, hey guys, I'm gonna miss the first roaming fleet of the night. Somebody else has to take it out. I'm going out to dinner with my family. I'm sitting in TeamSpeak, but I'm down in another channel. I'm just waiting for my kids to change. And the Alliance leader comes down and says, no man, I really need you to fleet command the first roaming fleet of the night. And I said, no, I'm taking my family out to dinner. And he's like, well, I don't understand why you have to go out to dinner with your family. We're right in the middle of an important war. Dude, do you have a wife? No. Do you have kids? No. Then I don't expect you to understand. I'll be back at about 7 o'clock tonight. And then when I got back, he fucking berated me. So I just pulled my corp out of the Alliance. And then he was all pissed because I took a good fraction of the carriers and dreadnoughts with me. Guys, it's a fucking video game. But what I realized was I was that person when I was single. But for me, I like sex more than I like video games. And happy wife, happy life, right? You think if I tell the wife we ain't going to hibachi, you thinking I'm getting any when I go to bed tonight? Only thing I'm gonna be getting is a frying pan upside the head. I ain't dude, I ain't fucking up my marriage over a video game. That ain't fucking happening. And so, I'm like, nah, I'm done with Eve. Now that most of my kids are gone and grown, if they released a new Eve cluster, start from scratch, I would play it. But I wouldn't get involved in the Alliance Wars until the end of this year, because I'm going to Disney like 7 times. I just had my 20-year-old over for tacos last night. We planned the May trip. I'm going in May, I'm going in June, I'm going in August, Labor Day weekend, and then Columbus Day weekend. And some of that's going to be Universal Studios for Halloween Horror Nights. But, as I told you guys, some of you might not have been here. I had a health issue earlier I was supposed to stream on Thursday. And, the bottom of my foot, I have a spot on, and the pad of my right foot, the ball of my right foot swelled up and was filled with pus. Gross and disgusting, but it's, the problem with, non-diabetic neuropathy. I must have injured my foot and not realize it because I can't feel my feet. I can't feel the bottoms of my feet. I must have stepped on something and I couldn't feel it. Like you did it, you would feel the pain. I didn't feel the pain. So then the bottom of my foot had to be looked at. I had to lance and drain off the pus and treat my foot. But I know that I'm on a timeline. At some point, my feet are coming off. At that point, I'm not going to Disney without feet. Right? Now, if I get really good prosthetics. I like a game too, but if a woman says, let's go on a date, I'm logging off my game immediately. Right. Exactly. Like, I don't use, and I'm not knocking people that their life is their digital identity. I'm not knocking you. What I'm saying is, I'm not one of you. I used to be, but I'm not that anymore. I'm not going to be a 24/7 recluse anymore. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Now, is it possible I end up as the old man in the guild because my kids are grown and my wife passes away and, you know, I'm in my late 50s, early 60s and I'm gaming all the time? Sure, absolutely, it's possible. To be completely honest, if something happened to my wife, I would be hard-pressed to want to get involved in another relationship because, let's be honest, if something happens to my wife, do I want to have to get to know a whole different other person? I made the joke once. So Eve streaming 50 years confirmed, right? No shit. I made the joke once to my wife, and she laughed about it. What I said was, if my wife passes away, I'm not getting another girlfriend. I'm just gonna go out to Sherry's Spicy Ranch near Las Vegas twice a year. Be like, go out there, call ahead, be like, hey, I just want the girlfriend experience. I'll be out there for 4 days. What's the girlfriend experience gonna cost me? They'll be like, oh, well, it'll cost you $5,000 for 4 nights. Shit. It's cheaper than having a full-time girlfriend. You're in your 50s. How many times do you got to get a pickle tickle in, right? Twice a year? She'll be all happy to see you. You know? Dude, why do we keep getting level 5 rabbits? We already have a fucking army of rabbits. By then, we should have cat girl made robots. If you hadn't been funny on previous times on my show, straight to the gulag with you on that one. $5-3, I'll take it. Yeah, the old man of the guild always has some funny stories. They're wild too. I just want to know why I keep getting one shot. Oh, take all your gear off, put all your gear back on. We had the patch. You might you might have a you might be having a gear registration issue. I'll wait for you at the stairs. If you're playing Once Human and you ever find that after an update your stats are garbo, I always recommend taking your gear off and putting it back on. Sometimes the game just doesn't recognize you're wearing your gear. Somebody just said in-game chat, I'll jump on this one. They said, I'd love to see this game in VR like No Man's Sky. I love the idea of VR. I do. I really, when I was going to buy that studio house, when I was going to build the house, I specifically designed the room to the dimensions of a VR set. I had built an office, and then behind the office, I had put another room to put the 4 VR cameras in and everything. I just can't, my anxiety triggers like shit during playing VR. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's just, I don't want to wear a VR headpiece and then the cables. Yeah, that's part of mine. Part of my issue is I don't want to have the cables. They have some ways around it where you can ceiling mount the cables. You run the cables from your PC to a ceiling mount, and then they come straight down to you. But again, I'm not going to do that in this house. I don't think VR is going to get to the point where it becomes a major part of my life in this lifetime. I don't think we're going to make those leaps and bounds. I think we've had the big leap and bound, and then it's going to be a few years till we get the next one. But what I will say is, technology is advancing faster than we could have thought or could have assumed. Shit, some of these some of these AI programming assistants, they are getting crazy effective. Zencoder is absolutely amazing. VR horror game. Actually, my first experience with the VR set was Wraith the Oblivion. And that was a trip. My anxiety was spiking from that. That was a great experience. I like that. Have you seen the video why Disney adults are going bankrupt for Disney? No, I haven't. I haven't seen that one, but I can tell you why Disney adults go bankrupt. Because Disney is expensive as shit. I'm only doing Disney a bunch of times this year because I have a season pass. And then we're not doing any Disney for a couple of years. It just so happened that they gave the military members a season pass this year. Hearing the stories of ArcheAge back in the day makes me wish I was playing MMOs back then. I would have loved to have been part of that community. ArcheAge was a great community. If they had just done a couple of simple things with ArcheAge, they would have had longevity of an unreal nature. The problem is and Jake Song has admitted all of these points. He said we weren't respectful of the Western culture. And he said Westerners don't play games the same way we play games, and we need to stop thinking about the Western market as an afterthought, and we need to think about the Western market as a primary market, which made me really excited for ArcheAge Chronicles, and then Jake Song has now since left XL Games. But it's the thought process behind it's the thought process behind some gamers hear something and they're adamantly against it because they think it's going to destroy their playstyle. For example, for the game that I'm just toying around writing a game. I'll write it all up. It'll be thousands of pages by the time I'm done. I'll send it to Paradox Interactive and be like, look, this is all based on your game. What do you think? You have to be respectful. Your game must be respectful of every playstyle. And if you're not respectful of every playstyle, then you have to understand that you have nothing to offer to the players whose primary playstyle is that playstyle. Meaning, you can't disregard crafters. You can't disregard the artisan system. The artisan system in your game must be respectful. It has to be meaningful. That doesn't mean that you can't have gear drops in dungeons. What it means is you have to think to yourself, how do I build a system that respects both the players who want to run content to get gear and the players who want to spend all of their time crafting gear? So the solution is this. You have dungeons, you have raids, you have world bosses. Those have gear drops. But you run those in a Diablo-style random stat model. Playstyle is, do you want to be a crafter? Do you want to be a gatherer? Do you want to be a PvPer? Do you want to be a dungeon runner? Do you want to be a leader of, like, if you're going to have territory control, do you want to be the person that's doing the territory control? And so to be respectful of your artisan players and your dungeon runners, what you do is you have a Diablo style gear drop with randomized stats and randomized levels. When you run the dungeon, you get randomized stuff. But when you gather the materials to craft it, you get the exact stats you want. Respecting playstyles, Foxhole. I think you might have been the one that told me to look that game up before, and I think I had. I'd have to look through my notes. There's something about Foxhole that really struck a chord with me and said, yes, this is really good. I'll be damned if I can remember what it is. I'm not saying I love the whole game. I'm saying there was something about that game that I probably have written down in a notebook somewhere. I think where we run into the problem is everybody is so afraid that their play style isn't going to be respected that they get disrespectful about everybody else's play style. You know what I mean? Like, you want there to be open world PvP. And so the moment I say, I don't think open world PvP of a non-consensual nature is good, you lose your shit. And you're like, you're taking away my playstyle. Well, I'm not taking away your playstyle. What I'm doing is I'm talking about how do we give you open world PvP so that we can keep you as a consumer, but at the same time, not alienate the people who don't want open world PvP. And so then I say, well, we're talking about consensual PvP, so caravans are that. And you'll say, well, a caravan's not consensual PvP because I have to run caravans. And I'll say, but you don't need to run caravans. You're making a choice to run a caravan. So if you run a caravan, you know you're consenting to PvP. Well, how do I make money without running a caravan? Why would anyone run dungeons for random stats if you can craft better gear? Because we make the loop of acquiring the mats to make the gear longer. So if you want something right now, you go and run the dungeon. If you want it right exactly, you gather the mats and have it crafted for you. Very much like some games have. Some games, the crafted gear is universally better. Some games, the dropped gear is universally better. Well, if the dropped gear is universally better, like Arcage got rid of the entire need for most classes to do armor crafting, weapon crafting, bow crafting. Because Hiram gear was better. So you turn the game from having a respectable artisan system to quite literally just log in every day for 2 hours, do my dailies, and then nothing else matters. Nothing else in the play loop matters because the other 22 hours a day, I will make minimal progress. Oh, I haven't maxed my cloak. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to log in and I'm going to hunt in Diamond Shores for cloak fragments. But once you have the cloak, now you have no reason to log in other than the Hiram dailies. Well, you could grind mobs, yeah, and get like 1% of the efficiency if I just do my dailies. WoW was a big offender in that way too. Crafted gear was mostly outshadowed by phase 1 or 2 of the... yeah, WoW is a walking, talking example of not respectful of player time because you got done running Nax 17 times to get your gear set, and the drops, the green drops in the next expansion pack are better than my raid drops that I got previously. That's 100% spot on. That was the problem. No, see, what you done there, Brandon, is you said, I think a better system is you can craft gear faster, make them strong, but the gear only 5 slots, while dungeon gear is random and holds 6 slots. The problem there is now you've literally, once again, made it pointless to craft. Because now what you have to do in order to throttle the player growth is you have to put a artificial cap on how many dungeons they can run a week. Well then, what you're literally doing is punishing the players. Yeah, but there's not advantage on both. You said I've given the gear an advantage by doing X, but it doesn't have an advantage because you said dropped gear is better, or dropped gear is better. So I'll just run the dungeon 50 times this week. Oh, but I can only run the dungeon once this week. Oh, so now you're literally putting a throttle in place for why I don't want to play the game. Final Fantasy XIV does this. WoW does this. Lots of games have done this over the years. What we're going to do is we're going to limit the number of times you can run content in a week. Why? Why would you not want me playing your game all the time? As long as I'm playing your game, I'm happy and I'm not looking for another game to play. The moment, okay, I'm done with all my lockouts for the week. It's Thursday. I'm done with all my lockouts for the week. I'll talk to you guys on Monday. What are you going to do? I'm going to go play Crusader Kings. So you spend all weekend playing Crusader Kings, and then all of a sudden you start thinking to yourself, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll play Bannerlord. And now all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I'm having more fun playing Bannerlord than I am playing MMO. So now I'm not, you know what, guys? I think I'm done playing this MMO. Something can happen like what happened with me and Dawntrail. I thought Dawntrail was the biggest pile of shit expansion they've ever done. I quit playing Final Fantasy at Dawntrail. I never even finished the Dawntrail expansion. It's that fucking bad. I'm just like, I'm not having any fun logging in. Well, what if they create a new expansion? I don't think I'm going to go back to it because I will have been out of it for a whole expansion. And, to be honest, Final Fantasy hasn't been anything more than a gear treadmill for years. Where Winds Meet did this, but Where Winds Meet in the Western market made a lot of mistakes because they were trying to throttle the players from making progress so that other players didn't get left behind. But then what happened is you would get level capped, and then you would get gear capped, and then you would run out of energy points, so you couldn't run any content for gear anyway, and you were just like, well, this sucks. This is where we talk about games that are PvP and games that are PvE. If a game is both, you don't really need to limit people's ability to make PvE progression. I definitely respect the idea of capping PvP progression, but if players fall behind, then players won't log in. Players will quit. I also think that developers and players need to realign their thinking, and we need to stop thinking about MMORPGs, and we need to think about MMO persistent worlds. What do we want that persistent world to look like? Like, one of the big things I remember in the Ashes of Creation community was people talking about dailies. People were talking about dailies and how horrible dailies are. But your whole life, your real life existence, is a series of dailies. You wake up in the morning, you take a shower, you eat breakfast, you go to a job. If you have kids, you get your kids up, you take them to school. If you're a student, you get up, you go to class, you do homework. Your life is a series of daily tasks. It's not a matter of not having dailies in an MMO. It's a matter of having respectful dailies. Yes, they shouldn't be a second job. It's a shitty second. I think a game that doesn't get enough credit for how it handled dailies was Revelation Online. Remember I said even a terrible game can bring some really good new concepts to the table. Revelation Online had dailies. If you didn't do your daily today, when you did that daily tomorrow, you got 200% the reward. If you did it the day after that, you got 300% the reward. Now, the reason why that works is it gives people the opportunity to make nibbles of progress every day. or it respects the fact that some people are only going to be able to play every third day. I think that, and I do agree with you, games that turn into running the dailies instead of playing the actual game, those are bad. That's why I like to think of them as progression tasks. Do you lose personal development if you don't do the dailies? You shouldn't. Dailies should not be done in a way to advance your personal progression. You should be doing dailies for your faction, or your guild, or your center of civilization, or your whatever it is. Like what I'm writing, Iron Throne. It's not the real name, it's just a working name. If you're a member of a noble bloodline that's landed, you have things to do to maintain your barony, your county, your duchy, your kingdom. But if you're a member of a bloodline that's landed, you're barred by role from crafting because it's beneath you. Your bloodline can't buy crafting perks. Now, what happens if your bloodline was a crafting guild and then evolved? Oh shit, he made that jump. He's right on top of you. You made the jump to being landed. Well, maybe you don't want to be landed in a castle. Maybe you want to be landed in a city, because a mayor bloodline can still craft. It's about having, and I get it. People are like, I don't like rules that are hard rules. And I get that. I understand. But without hard rules, then you have one power guild that does everything. I wish Once Human got rid of the weekly time gate on the Nightmare Crate rewards. I do too, but then we'd be right back to the situation. Hold on. Sorry. You don't need to be the star of the show, but feeling like I help with that is a cool side reward. Yes, exactly. And that's where we don't give enough opportunities for enough people to have their 15 minutes of fame. Knowing that you're like, I'm going to use the movie because I like the way I like using movies for the talking points. The movie Kingdom of Heaven. Balian is a blacksmith. And he gets recruited by his father. And then all of a sudden, Balian finds himself as a baron. But after he became a baron, did he ever blacksmith again in the whole show? No. He did like engineering work, but he didn't blacksmith shit. Oh, you like that? You like the 100 and some odd the 126 round P90 magazine? It actually gets worse. It'll be worse when I finish my level 17 new mods. Oh, and the fact that I get 8 seconds of no bullet use. Yeah, that's nice too. Yeah. Mr. Wish gives me 8 seconds where I don't consume bullets. Not to mention that I reload as I hit targets. You always wanted to play this game. I think this game, for being a free-to-play game with absolutely zero paywalls, is one of the best games on the market for people that want a game with a sense of progression. It's like they could have monetized this game in a lot of really shitty ways. But they didn't. Like, one of the things they could have done with this game is made it so that you can't place land unless you have the battle pass. They could have done some ridiculous wonky shit like that, right? But they didn't, which is good. 140 100 and 120 rounds until I get the rest of my mods. It'll go up to 143, I think. And then 8 seconds of no using bullets. And in that 8 seconds, I reload like 15 to 21 rounds. So yeah, I can shoot for a really long time. But Once Human it works for this type of game. Unfortunately, I don't think it would work for a true MMO. I think there's a problem, but like Where Winds Meet is NetEase's other game. Is Where Winds Meet a true MMO? No, it's not a true MMO. Is it MMO-esque? Yes. Have I tried the Winrose demo yet? No, I have not. They could have made guns like the Abyss and the P90. They could have made those paid guns. They absolutely could have. Would it have been as successful? No. But Where Winds Meet isn't a true MMO because it has that solo world, the co-op world, and then the main world. But I think we need to get out of the idea that MMORPGs can't evolve in a new way. Because I think the Where Winds Meet server mindset is exactly what we need. We need, first of all, can we just admit we haven't had a good MMO? If you're a BDO fan, I'm not trying to insult you, but I think the last good MMO that launched, ArcAge, I don't think we've had a good MMO launch since. I'm clicking too fast. I don't think we've had a good MMO launch since. Chrono Odyssey was pushed to Q1 of next year. ArcAge Chronicles is coming out this year. Camelot Unchained is dead. Pantheon might come out. Ashes of Creation, the Ashes of Creation is going to be the is going to be, I think Robert Dawson is going to take Ashes of Creation overseas, have it finished by Asian Game Company, and it's going to hurt the market. Because what's going to happen is he's going to launch it and people are going to be ridiculous about how good it isn't. And then we're just going to be in a boat where people are like, see, it came out. And you're going to be like, yeah, it came out. And it's dog shit. Light No Fire has a chance to be epic. Hold on. I want to relook at Light No Fire. I had planned on doing a show. I have a bunch of games I just want to look at. Light No Fire doesn't have a chance to be massive because it's a survival game. Let me say this. I'm a survival game nut job. I love survival games. I love survival games. Here's the downside, right? You can have a survival game nested inside of an MMORPG if you do it right. You could make food, fatigue, hunger, liquid, dehydration. You could make all of that optional. You could make all of that optional. And then turn around and say people that are following the survival get bonuses and people that fail at doing it get penalties. But then you would immediately have people that would whine and bitch because they would say, now it's not optional. Well, it is optional. Steven called it when he said he would change the genre. Ashes will forever be the lesson on what not to do. Ashes of Creation is a walking, talking example on what not to do because, quite literally, Steven ripped off investors. Steven made this big deal about saying, you guys need to be patient till all the filings are filed. Steven's lawyer didn't even lay the groundwork for the best argument that they could have made to implicate Robert Dawson, and that's insider foreclosure. Because they could have framed it as Robert violated his fiduciary duties to Intrepid Studios by specifically arranging for Intrepid Studios to fail so that he could remove the assets and sell them to TFE Games Holdings. He chose to act as both the leaders of both sides of the equation, and they didn't even begin to lay that argument in Steven's filing. They didn't even begin to lay that out. Steven's whole legal filing was, they stole my company. Dude, they didn't steal your company. You fucking sold it. I mean, like, I'm sorry, Chumpzilla, but you don't have an argument here. You filed a bullshit, frivolous lawsuit in the state of California where, unfortunately, people have remedy and recourse when you file bullshit lawyers. Yeah, Robert had better lawyers. So Steven has a Harvard lawyer, but that doesn't matter because you could give Da Vinci a pile of shit and he still can't make a masterpiece, but you can give a slightly better artist chisel and clay and marble, and they can make a much better sculpture than what Da Vinci can make out of shit. It's not being rude, it's being realistic. What you did, was build something that had no hope of a future. The numbers are clear. Ashes of Creation was not profitable for most of its life, and even Steam release was 2 months of operation. The product was unprofitable. Shut it down. No, that's not anywhere. Like, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you right there. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Of course it wasn't profitable because it wasn't built. Hey, man, your Hamburger Shack, you spent $500,000 building a restaurant and you ran it for 2 months and you didn't make $500,000 back. Yeah, because you ran it for 2 months. Of course it's not going to be profitable. Remember, profit only begins after expenses are paid. That's what profit is. It takes a long time to recoup $140 million. It's why most contractors make all of their profit in the last 10%. Contractors make their profit on the dressing up of the property. They don't make their profit digging the hole. They don't make their profit putting in the foundation, because those things aren't profitable. They make their profit on, it's like when I've had houses built in the past. I tell the contractor, I know what this house is going to cost in materials, so you're not going to charge me a markup on materials. What you're going to do is you're going to tell me how much is it going to cost for you to build it. They give me a time frame, they give me a cost. They say, "Cool, I'm good with that." I'm not saying you can't make a profit. I'm saying you're not going to make a profit on the materials. You tell me what your labor costs me, because I'll buy the materials. That way you're not even fucking involved with the procurement of the materials. I'll buy all them. How much is your skill set to put the house together? Oh, 50,000? Cool, sounds good. Your profit for being the general contractor is 50,000? Cool. So the house is going to cost me 175,000 in materials and labor. And if you get it done on time, I'm going to give you 50,000. Now, what are you going to give me back for every day you're late? Every day you're late, it's $500 back in my pocket? Cool. I'm good with that. The main driver for profitability of the game would have been subscriptions. Everything up to release and starting of subscription was fundraising. Yeah. Which is why one of the things Steven made a terrible fucking decision, and I don't give a shit, because he used the excuse many times of, we didn't know what we didn't know. Fine, fair. You didn't know what you didn't know. No problem. What you didn't know was you shouldn't be doing an MMO without a box price, because the box price is what's going to offset all of your development costs. You have realistically, I don't think it would be out of line to say Ashes conceivably would have launched with 2 million players if you had somebody better than Margaret doing the marketing. Let's say you do $39. That's 78 million of your development cost covered with the box price. Monsters and Memories has no box price, going to be sub only. And what? Again, let me say this. They're making a mistake without having a small box price. Because the box price offsets all of your years of development and lets you pay off investors. It lets you fill up the kitty. If the kitty's not full. Yeah, and Monsters and Memories is smaller in scope. They aren't beholden to investors. See, the biggest thing, Steven's biggest mistake is that he lied to himself. I forgot what movie it is. There's a great movie. It says, "We deal in deception." Oh, it's It's The Departed. We deal in deception. What we do not deal in is self-deception. You can lie to people, lie off your ass. But what you can't do is lie to yourself. If Steven was legitimately offered 100 million for Ashes of Creation, and Robert Dawson told him, don't do it, then Steven lied to himself about the value of Ashes of Creation. Because I'll tell you this. I'm 46, so I'll be 47 this year. If I started working on an MMO right now, knowing what I know about the internals of Intrepid, knowing if my story played out exactly like that, if I got to 52, working 12, 14, 16-hour days, and somebody came along and said, we love your idea for Iron Throne. We'll give you 100 million for it. Sold. Done. Goodbye. Would I prefer to get it launched? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But if I was 8 years into a project and I realized it was not going, because Steven had to know it wasn't going according to plan. We make MMOs for future kids, same as planting trees. We will never sit in their shade. Yes, exactly. That's the only thing we can do now. The only thing we can hope for as old gamers is that we motivate and inspire a company to make an MMO so that a future generation can have the joy and wonder of a great MMO. But we need to stop thinking that MMO... We've got to be the agent from Serenity. This perfect world you're trying to build. I'm not gonna live there. Yeah, if you repeat it often enough, people will believe it. People can be yourself too. That's absolutely true. Steven got caught up in the God complex. He got caught up in the MMO Messiah mindset. Steven didn't have the first idea of what the fuck he was doing. His own staff members have come out and said some really damning shit about him. And mass shout out to Nefis about the amazing work he's been doing, getting those developers to reach out to him. He got like 15 different developers to reach out to talk to him. It's pretty clear Steven never had a fucking clue. I don't think he could have been. I think it defines his personality. Oh, Steven Sharif is absolutely, without a doubt, he is absolutely a narcissist. He is absolutely a narcissist. Without a doubt. I don't even need to, right? I don't even need to bust out the treatment planner for Steven for what a narcissist he is. Because Steven's belief, Steven can't accept the idea that he's not the smartest guy in the room.
You've been listening to Forward Radio, a public broadcast station provided by the Rosetta Corporation for the benefit of everyone, everywhere.
Trying to take care of all of this nonsense. And unfortunately, being a narcissist isn't inherently bad unless your narcissism leads you... Oh yeah, the Plague Doctor. Oh wait, have you not seen my Plague Doctor? So, this is my Plague Doctor. Nice. Oh. The chonk on, yeah, this is the chonk. That's a chonky doctor. Where can you get this? They are made by Squishable. They are made by Squishable. I was going to buy the steampunk version. If you build a game with substandard but easily upgradable video assets and focus on gameplay and systems, you should be able to quickly iterate. Let me say this. There are a handful of games that are building with stock assets. And there is nothing wrong with building your game out of stock assets. And this is one thing where a lot of gamers, I want to just beat them in the head with a glass bottle. You turn around and say that using stock assets is some sort of sin. But what's the difference between using stock assets that were made by a person and hiring a person to make the same damn asset? The only thing is that you have to buy assets that have continuity. Like, if I was going to build a game and I found out that this tree pack was available, I wouldn't want to hire an environmental artist. If I found out this game was put together through stock assets and I could buy those stock assets, truthfully, I think that these assets look just fine for the environment. Do I think that the big pile of aluminum is a little jarring? Yeah. Do I understand that maybe it should be like 7 Days to Die? But then do I want to have a Vox buildable world? Like, is that what I want? I don't think stock assets make your game bad. Because if you're building the game with stock assets, you should be, if you become successful, able to go through and then do art passes like 7 Days to Die did. 7 Days to Die had very, very rough zombie stock. I'm not gonna call them stock assets, but they had very, very rough assets early on. And as the game has been iterated on, the models have become better and better. But they did, like, Steven wanted the game to look a certain way. So he hired a fuck ton of artists. And at the end of the day, all we got out of Ashes of Creation was a bunch of stock assets. Robert Dawson now owns all those assets. I would not be surprised if Robert Dawson doesn't sell those assets on the Fab store to start recouping money. Steven wanted 24/7 hype to get investments. Right. And what shocks me is he was so dumb about it. Like, he literally was involved with MLMs and borderline pyramid schemes. So why the fuck he didn't do what he, like, you got $1 million loan from Jason Karamanis. You raised 2.5 from a Kickstarter. Why didn't you use the money to pay off Jason Karamanis? So now you're going to build the company on 1.5 million. If you had gotten rid of the first investor, now your debt to income ratio is good enough that you could have funded the game with the changes to the cash shop that I had already always pushed for. Dude, the shit's too expensive. Lower the price of this shit and you'll sell more of it. I'll say this, and some people might not like me and whatever. I had said to Steven early on, look, man, I'm retired. I have a lot of experience in project management. If you need somebody, I have a lot of project experience in CPI. If you need a vice president of getting shit done, just call me. I'm bored. Just give me room and board. Put me in a hotel room or give me a fucking bedroom to sleep in and pay my meals. I'm fat. All I care about is getting fed. And I'll come out and set all that shit up for you. I would have advised Steven to not abandon APOC, right? But I would have told him, don't build the BR first. Take the fucking skill kits you had from Alpha Zero and build Castle Siege mode and Horde mode. Have both of those done. Even if we're going to bullshit the consumer base and say these are for testing. No, they're for... You could have, if you had built and refined the Castle Siege mode and the Horde mode, you would have had tens of thousands of players. But what you did is you took money from a bunch of MMO fans and then built your own fucking Fortnite with it. And that's why your game never had above 1,500 players concurrently. Because you built what nobody wanted. You built literally what nobody wanted you to build. Why didn't you think about what you were doing and build the other two modes that would have appealed to MMORPG players? Then you could have slapped a battle pass on it, and then you would have had people maintaining that product. Yeah, Steven was trying to make APOC a standalone game. And although he swore up and down the avenue that's not what he was doing, it turned out that his own staff members came out to say, Steven basically said one day, I want my own Fortnite. He's a schemer. If he was smart, he should have created another LLC and fed resources to develop the BR, hiding the fact he was using MMO funding. I don't think that was even necessary because I think Steven just wasn't smart enough to frame the message. That was the biggest, well, that was one of the biggest pushbacks, yes. But if he had released Horde mode and Castle Siege mode, he would have been okay. Because then it would have been a lot easier to say, well, guys, those things are absolutely for the MMORPG. I hate this new map. What did Steven do with the company name on Steam? APOC had a slightly different version. Yeah, they did something. They did some fuckery so that it was a different company so they didn't get saddled with APOC's dirty reputation. I don't know exactly what he did or how exactly he got away with it, but he did something, or they did something with it, which was pretty lowbrow and pretty shitty. I mean, as I said, if you had quite simply made the other two modes, it would have looked like you were building them for the MMORPG. And maybe you actually would have gotten data that would have been valuable to you. But I don't know. Lowbrow and shitty pretty much describes the entire 10 year. Yeah, exactly. And then what was worse was Steven made these claims. Like Robert Dawson's claims is that this much money is missing, this much money is missing, this much money is missing. Steven Sharif's claims are Robert Dawson physically intimidated me. Well, dude, no offense, but You can't just turn around and say a guy physically intimidated you. Like, I mean, you can, but that's pretty off the wall, accusatory to say, I only signed this stuff over because this guy physically intimidated me. Okay, did you go to the police? Did you fill out a police report? And if you didn't go to the police and you didn't fill out a police report, then why not? Like, I think what we're going to find out here is that Steven was full of shit. Honestly, the lies about being self-funded and having no board to answer to the entire player base is the biggest fuck you. But here's the worst part. People are quite literally rallying for Jason, hoping that Jason and Robert release the game. I don't know what's worse, what Steven did, or the fact that people are hoping that the game comes out. Guys, I promise you, Robert Dawson doesn't give a shit about having a successful game. Robert Dawson cares about one thing and one thing only: recouping his investments, especially if what Jason said, that Robert is so overextended that he's now having to leverage his other equity on margin in order to keep his finances afloat. All Robert wants is to get his 80 million back and maybe a little something extra. They will release a dog shit game because they know that you're desperate. They know that you'll blame Steven. Yeah, players just desperately want a return on their investment. I can't blame them. Well, I can blame them because here's what needs to happen. All that false hope shit that's going on in that community needs to be shut down. And Robert Dawson, TFE Games Holdings, all of them need to be told, look, none of us are going to give you a penny unless the game that we were promised is what gets delivered. If you deliver some half-ass bullshit game, we're not going to play it. But what's the problem? Players will play it. I'm literally telling you, you're going to get scammed off your ass, and you're still going to have people that play it. From where the game was in development in January, or right now, because the game is still up, no one's there to pull the plug on it. Where the game is right now, to a player experience that's worthy of the player by September, are you kidding me? Their internals say that they want to have the game launched in September. How? Honestly, that's an honest question. How? How do you expect that to even be a fucking reality? You think that they can button up the whole game by September? It took them 10 fucking years to get where they are now. I think the players are going to radically... I think that what's going to end up happening is people will turn on Steven, as they should. Steven needs to become such a pariah. He needs to be outright told, you have no right to talk to the gaming community until you are done issuing refunds. And even after you're done issuing refunds, nobody wants to hear from you. Nobody wants to hear from you. You stole people's money. Steven and his bullshit. The thing that pisses me off most of all is Steven and his bullshit is they stole my company from me. Dude, they didn't take your company from you. It wasn't your company anymore. What people did was give you money You were unable to return the investment, and so they took possession of what you sold them. Well, Robert Dawson did all these things. Look, man, I think Robert Dawson is a fucking douchebag based on all the other things I found out about him. But what I am is I'm an individual that looks at the situation and says, quite literally, I think the man's a fucking douchebag for the way he does business. But there ain't one damn thing illegal about what he did. There's not one damn illegal thing that he did. Holy shit, I didn't even know all this stuff was in my vault. What the fuck is all this? Must have blown up a couple of fucking chests along the way. That's a lot of fucking deviations I wasn't aware of. Even from a business perspective, you have no experience or idea how to do what you were trying to do. People trusted you to be able to do it. You failed. Go try something else. Except I think in this regard, Steven needs to never try anything else ever again because he lied to people. Look, incompetence isn't criminal. And I think that's really important for people to recognize. Incompetence isn't criminal. But bullshitting everybody, and I do mean everybody, bullshitting everybody is pretty morally reprehensible, right? And that's what he did. He bullshit everybody. Again, I'm not a big fan of Robert Dawson's. I don't like the way Robert Dawson does business. And maybe Robert has a perfectly plausible reason for why he's had 9 businesses in the state of Nevada forcibly revoked. Maybe he has a justification. I don't think he will, but I'm willing to say maybe he does. But at the same time, the Ashes community is going to just lap up whatever bullshit he spits out. Yeah, I've got a remarkable schedule. My gaming streams always happen when the world is fucking burning. Yeah. Somebody already said in the chat when they looked this morning, they wanted to know if I had snuck off to Disney because every time I'm at Disney, the world seemingly goes to shit. Steven was so deep in the shit financially, he couldn't have even filed bankruptcy without making it obvious he committed acts of fraud and a half a dozen other criminal offenses. His only choice was to keep digging the hole. Yeah, unfortunately, that's a really big one. But it's like I've said, didn't Ashes also come down yeah, Ashes. My shows can never align. My shows can never align where the subject matter of the day is what the topic of the show is, ever. It can never happen. Waiting for a new scenario design or a new map to come back. I tried the Deviation SCP and it's actually pretty fun. I do find the Deviation SCP is really fun. I will get back to it. I just happen to be playing a very long Crusader Kings 3 game. Some of you who don't know how in-depth into CK3 I get, my average CK3 game will be about 6 weeks. Because I don't play speedrun Crusader Kings 3. I play the long game. I play the Dynasty game. I divvy out stuff Like I play well past. How many hours played are we talking? So let's say my CK3 games are probably around 450 to 500 hours. For one playthrough. That I don't play for 500 hours multiple games. I am one of those disgusting one speed players. Yes, I am. Because I go for, like, I set custom rules for myself where it's like I can't declare wars. Yeah, I go off and become the dynasty for a while. Yes, absolutely. Like I set self-imposed rules where sometimes the rule is I can't expand into new territories until all of my territories are my religion. Sometimes I set rules of I can only hold a number of locations I can only hold the exact number of locations as my men-at-arms. So when I'm a duke, I can only have 4 counties because that covers my 4 men-at-arms. Yeah, sometimes I put the damn horse in charge. It's like, I like grand strategy games. Yeah, it's too easy to get through 3 or 4 of the complete hereditary lines filled. Right. The other thing that I do is I play it as a grand strategy, but as a role play as well. I won't offensively attack anyone. I start with 1 county and I play tall. And then the only way I can expand my dynasty is through political marriages. Paradox AI is always mad, but CK3 got off especially bad. So what I will say is this. If you want to enjoy CK3, you have to download More Game Rules, Aggressive AI, and Quality of Life Rules as an interactive vassals. If you download those 4 mods and you set them to the harder difficulty, yeah. Oh, and I've recently found if you use the mod No More Levies, the math for the AI gets a lot smarter. Like, I want to show you from CK3, I absolutely agree with you because I hate the logic that it has. Let me grab this out of my Discord because it. This is the logic that we need to fix. So here was a CK3 game that I was playing. And this isn't me. I was watching the AI. I was watching the AI fight. And this is where when people say Crusader Kings 3 logic is terrible, I agree. So the army in red is the defensive army for this county. So that's their capital being sacked, and they're crossing the ocean. They're leaving. Now, what irritated me about this, they have more total army, right? Like, I'm sorry. They have more men-at-arms. They have more knights. They have a better commander. Your men-at-arms counter their MMAs, and you have the defender advantage because you're fighting and you're being led by your own monarch. So you've got, or your own ruler. So you've got all these roles that are going to go in your way. But because you have 548 and they have 549, they're running away because the AI still counts the numerical advantage. That's all it cares about. Well, that's why I have a bunch of mods installed, because I don't want that shit. I don't want that nonsense. I hate it when you're playing CK3 or any Paradox Interactive game. You have to not play militarily, because if you play militarily, the AI will almost never attack you once you start building up your military. The AI will quite literally say, "Oh, you're too strong. I'm not going to attack you." Well, you know what? That's boring as shit. Now, I will admit as well, map painting is boring as shit, right? I'm not exactly a huge fan of just molly-whopping the map. With these mods installed, the ones that I'm running, I've been attacked like 3 or 4 times while I'm campaigning somewhere else in the world. Which means I got to pack up my whole fucking army, and I got to sail home, and I have to defend my lands. The DLC where your the landless adventurer was a very good addition to CK3. Also, by the way, if you like grand strategy games but you don't like fuck your wallet, you can get subscriptions to Paradox Interactive Games. I know Stellaris and CK3. You pay $9 for the month and you have all the DLC. That I think is a good idea. I didn't know if the other ones got them. I didn't want to speak out of turn, so the other ones got them too. That's good then. Because not everybody has $700 to throw down on Stellaris. Monetization is always going to kill us in gaming, man. It's always going to kill us. Excuse me. Stellaris DLC is crazy, although I remember a train sim game with 21,000. Oh yeah, there was there's been a handful of games that when you look at how much DLC they have, it's just absolutely disgusting. You're like, what are you doing? All right, now speaking of what am I doing, I've got to find sheet of paper. Helmet. No, mask. Mask is what we're going for. Oh, mask I can't. These I can't do mask. So gloves, feet I already have, legs I have at 16. Body I have at 16. Gloves. Digital Extremes monetization for Warframe is pretty ethical. Honestly, I have no idea how they keep their funding going so well. Doesn't Warframe have some sort of creator program as well, where people can create stuff and then they get a cut of what they sell? Is that one of the games that's doing that? I thought that was one of the games that was doing that. I could be wrong. Crit Amp. Yep. Crit Amp 15. Crit Amp 16. 10. We need a 17. We need a 17. Come on. Come on. This is so depressing. 10 tries to get a 17. My neighbor died in his garage last night, sitting watching TV, and me just shows up with a bunch of cops. Oh, and the ME shows up with a bunch of cops. I think Jalan is at Disney and he pre-recorded this. No, I'm not at Disney. Although I will say this, guys, maybe the universe thought I was going to be at Disney. My wife and I went for our walk last night and she's like, oh, by the way, Gizmo doesn't have school on Monday. And I said to my wife, I said, well, then why the fuck aren't we at Disney this weekend? Okay. Gloves, crit amp. Crit amp 16. Crit amp 16. I don't think crit amp 16. So crit damage would be the same. Damage against all. Yeah, so this is now better at 16. Are there supposed to be a little planetary alignment this weekend? I do know that there is on Tuesday a lunar eclipse something or other. So, I think CK3 can be a tad too easy, partially due to how they designed some of the mechanics. The Army Rally system lets you more or less teleport all your levies and men-at-arms around your realm. There are quite a few mechanics with similar issues. Yeah, there are ways, if you're cheating in CK3, to, I mean, you can literally cheat the system. It's up to the player whether they're going to do it or not. If you didn't know this about CK3, you can only move your capital once in your lifetime, unless you're moving your capital to the natural capital of your primary title. So if you want to, if you're in Ireland and you take land in Spain, as long as you take like the Kingdom of Navarra, then you make Navarra your primary title. And now all of your race time becomes really, really short because your men-at-arms always rally at your realm capital. Well, if you're doing that, that's fine. But if you're doing that, don't complain that the game is too easy. Because you're literally doing the things that's making the game too easy. Okay, so now what? 132? Yeah, so now my weapon payload is 132. So I don't even know which one I need to work on next. I have the new violin at 17. Faithful Strike. Lunar. So yeah, that'll be better as soon as I level that up. Yeah, I will say I do agree with you. This new system is terrible. I believe the raise time in general, regardless of distance, is a bit short. Quite often you just spawn your armies in before the AI has even raised theirs. Yeah, I do agree with you. It's one of those, I would prefer that your levies especially, if, and again, I understand that this would be a lot of AI work to do, but if it's summer, your levies should take a much longer time responding than if it's winter. Because your levies are like, look, man, we got to bring the harvest in before we can go to war. The reason why Paradox Interactive have talked about why they made CK3 the way they made it and why it wasn't a modernized CK2. And what they said makes a lot of sense. CK2 is too niche. Not enough people enjoyed CK2. CK2 is a crazy, it's crazy niche. But that's the same problem we have with most games. A game has to be, a game has to be popular enough that it makes enough money that the developer can continue developing. Because if it's not, then the developer loses money, and no developer wants to lose money. Yeah, it also doesn't help that you can stack damage amplifying buildings for men-at-arms. Turning your Greek cavalry into Abrams with 485 plus damage doesn't help. Right. And the other thing that, with CK3 especially, is you have knights that are like 30, 35 prowess. If you do your eugenics program like I do, and you start breeding giants and Amazonians and Herculeans, and then you start breeding their kids, so now all of a sudden you have all of your lowborns are giant +6, Herculean +8 knights. So you have people that are +14 already. Like my children, my current character is Herculean. We're sea wolves, Herculean, and relenting faith in our religion. So my kids are born at 12 prowess. Okay, well, all of my daughters become shield maidens. Now they're 14 prowess. They do their duel when they're doing their rite of passage, and they more often than not get aspiring blade master. So I have 15-year-old kids who are fucking 15, 16 prowess. And yeah, 4-year-olds. 4-year-olds with 17 prowess. Like, that's where the game falls apart. That's where the logic of the game completely fails. They didn't think about... They didn't think about that. Or, like, when they did the Wrath of the Northmen DLC, you do certain things, and you have Vanagarian veterans who... You have a heavy infantry unit that counters 3 different units, and they have... 100, easily 100 offense, and then you can give them additional points by how you build your culture. Well, what I say to people is, if you're doing that, you're doing a map wipe, a map paint campaign, so don't be surprised when it's too easy. You think that's, you don't have to go to, you don't have to go out of your way or anything to do it. Which is why one suggestion that well, not just a suggestion that I would make, but one of the suggestions, because I am building just an academic exercise, but working on the idea of an MMORPG based on Crusader Kings, Every town has an economic building. It has a religious building. It has a transportation building. It has a military building. It has a defensive military building and an offensive military building. If you build barracks, that's fine, but you're not building barracks, warrior lodges. You can't build all of those things because the slots are aligned. Like, you can build a caravansary, or you can build a harbor, or you can build, you know, a couple of other options, but you can't. Oh, I want to put a royal armory. No, because we're not giving you an extra 25% to your number. We're not doing that because now we're getting into the land of the silly. But yeah, I saw what you said. I've had games where I send 20 knights against the Wrath of the Northmen when they do the invasion, the Viking invasion. They get 8,000 levies, and the enemy always panics. All your allies being attacked, and like, oh my god, the Wrath of the Northmen, they're coming. Yeah, dude, man, I'm gonna send 1 unit of men-at-arms and 20 knights, and we're gonna go stack wipe that 8,000 levies. Look, I don't care how good you are. You could be Jaime Lannister and have Barrister Selmy at your back. You're not fighting 8,000 guys with spears. Hi. What are you doing? Did you just vomit on me? Hurry up and die. They could also do very cool historical things with levies, as take them out for too long and your country gets fucked by a bad harvest. The population mechanic would help too. Lose a lot of levies in the field. Real drawback is no peasants craft. Right, and that's where CK2 was a little bit better. And I thought the natural evolution was going to be to that level, but then I understand why they didn't, because a lot of people want to do map painting. They don't want to have to, they don't want to have to manage, like, reality. It's why, Rome, Total War, and, Civilization. Civilization does a little bit better of military management, because when you build a military unit, you can't build more than the population that you have. If you build too much military, you're not able to expand your cities. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You're always going to have things that work. You're always going to have things that don't work. What it really becomes a matter of is, do people find the game fun? Like, the Murderer, CK3, they changed espionage a while back, and they made it worse, in my opinion, not better. Like, you recruit specific agents. Okay, but then why don't all of those agents automatically get a hook on you because they know that they just helped you commit a murder? And it's always weird too. It's like somebody that you would never think would be on the list of people. Like, I went to murder somebody, and Alfred of Wessex is on my list. And I'm like, why is Alfred of Wessex willing to be my alibi for this? Like, what logical sense does this make? And the answer is quite simply, it doesn't make any logical sense. It's also like Crusader Kings 3 has a big problem. If you don't take recognition of talent, you're dumb. Like, you know what I'm saying? Recognition of talent is a triple S tradition. You mean if I pardon you, I get a strong hook on you, which means you can never, ever plot against me? Oh, you have 28 stewardship, but you keep launching factions against me. Okay, launch your faction against me. No problem. This faction is going to be strong enough to stand against you in 5 months. Well, in 4 months, I better raise my army nearby. Or like I said, the guy has a 28 stewardship. You want him to be loyal to you. So you attempt to imprison him. He rebels. You pardon him. Now you have a strong hook on him, and he can never conspire against you. He can't get out of the hook, and he can never. It's like, okay. This guy that is my rival. This guy is my rival. Kidnap. Recruit. Strong hook. Get fucked. You can't scheme against me. Or the other thing that in that game that I thought was a good idea, but it didn't really play out. Hostages. So I have your son and heir as my hostage. And you attack me. And I don't kill him. And all I get from that is 40 standing with him. That son should be like, wait, I'm the hostage and my father attacked you anyway? Would you please recruit me and help me take, when I come of age, will you help me take my father's land from him? Because he doesn't love me. He just tried to fucking get me, because I can kill that hostage and suffer no penalty. But if I murder my rival, who murdered 2 of my kids, I get the murderer trait. Another one for you, chivalry. Chivalry is the absolute most ridiculous tradition. You mean all I have to do is romance my ass off, and if I get my stats to where they should be, with the right, I forgot which console position it is that helps speed up personal schemes, but if I get the right setup, I can romance 1 person a year. If I set up the right type of court, I can romance 2 people a year, and I can get 50 renown each time I do it. Oh yeah, I'm burning through fucking legacies. Great game. Some really shitty execution. Hello, you want to be seen? Is that your thing? No, you're liquid. Come here. Hello. Hello. Ow. I cut your back nails. This is Athena. This is my teeny tiny terrorist. Hello. Hello, terrorist. Aw. That's a sweetie. That's a sweetie. Aw. That's a good girl. Now, you have 4 brothers to go. Go get your 4 brothers. She's a good cat. She's a really good baby. see. It's 12:58, so the event should be up in like 1 minute. Paradox really has no competition with their niche of grand strategy genre. You're right. The closest games to Paradox games is Civilization, and then Bannerlord, but that's not grand strategy. It's military tactics, or Total War, which again is not really grand strategy. It's more military tactics. I wish Paradox would make an MMO. I really do. I think they would do amazing at it. Yeah, the Total War are great battles. Without a doubt. Distant Worlds, aren't there 2 other games? Oh, hi. That's nice. Isn't Galactic Civilizations close? Yeah, I saw you playing CK3. You played like an 8-hour marathon the other day. I saw that. I saw Grumpy Old Man hitting some CK. You'll see me on Discord here in a little bit. As soon as the stream is over, I'm gonna make myself a steak sandwich and play. I'll be playing CK3 for the rest of today and all of tomorrow. And then this will probably be my last. This will probably be my last CK3 playthrough for a while. I hit my goal. So I play almost the same playthrough every time, and I have been for 3 years. Crusader Kings 3. I've been playing the same playthrough for like 3 years. And what the playthrough is a Viking that converts to Christianity while in the Vanagarian. And then takes over Man in the Pirate Island, and then gets involved in Iberia and is moving around the world trying to find like the true path to Jesus, and then wins Iberia, and then decides to create his own religion because the rest of everybody else are heathens. So I've been doing that playthrough for a bunch of years and finding the most optimal way to do it. I managed to do that in 35 years. And that's the fastest I've ever done it. And I've tried multiple times over the years to win Iberia and somehow get involved in the legacy of Persia. And I don't think it's possible. I just don't think you can win that and still have enough time to stop Persia from resolving. If I get it done this time, well, after this playthrough, I'm now evolving the playthrough, and once I become an emperor, what I'm trying to be is I'm trying to teach my family all the great things about the Greek model. And so I'm going to adopt an administrative government. And an administrative government really, it makes you really powerful in some ways, but it is a pain in the ass in other ways. So that's the next evolution. And then I'll probably do the Greek playthrough a couple of times. I'm gonna do Persia in earnest, and then I really need to do a Nomad playthrough because I haven't done a Nomad playthrough yet. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to go about it. A lot of really good ways to play through CK3. And then I want to do a Stellaris playthrough later this year. But I'll have to buy the subscription for that. Have I played with the Game of Thrones? Yes, I have done the Game of Thrones mods. There was a major bug in the Game of Thrones for CK3, and the mod creator said he's finally now got it fixed. Robert Baratheon had almost infinite reinforcements, and the mod creator said he's gotten that fixed. Another one, if you like CK3 and you like World of Darkness, the World of Darkness mod is pretty fucking phenomenal too. I like that one. So this event that they added in, I don't necessarily like, I don't like what they did with this new event. I don't like the idea of killing the same boss over and over and over again. I also really am against how shitty the rewards are. RNG rewards never feel good. And I wish more developers would figure that out. RNG rewards are kind of shitty. Give people tokens and let them buy the rewards they want. If I want to do this event for 30 straight days to guarantee myself a 5-5. Now, I'm not against the idea of RNG rewards. I think you can do both. You want to give people the RNG chance to get the drop they want? Cool, do that. But then allow people to play through and get the reward they want with tokens. So, yeah, you get a 5-5 purple Rebecca. Great, you got that out of a box. That's great. But it should never be that you do the event multiple times a day, every day for the duration, and you never get a 5-5. Be like, here's your token for the one time you did it. Here's your token for the one time you did it. How many times is this event going to run? Say it's going to run 1,000 times. So make 250 tokens, what you need in order to buy the deviation you want. That way the person will be like, look, I tried to do this event a bunch of times and never got what I wanted, so now I get what I want because RNG shouldn't fuck me. Meanwhile, the person that ran it and got the 5-5 on the 5th run, what do they lose? They're like, oh, well, you weakened my achievement. I weakened your RNG luck? Like, is that really your response You're upset because I weakened your RNG luck. I somehow don't think that that person is going to feel as bad as the person who tried 250 times and never got it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would love an MMO to come out that could keep us all entertained. I was hoping for Chrono Odyssey this year, but somebody told me the other day that Chrono Odyssey has been bumped to Q1 of next year. ArcAge Chronicles will be out this year, we hope. And then I don't see anything else. Games add pity systems to increase the luck or outright guarantee to drop, but those are mostly pay systems. Right, and they shouldn't be. You could do an RNG system that has it, that turns it into a guarantee after X amount of time. You could do that. But I somehow think that it would be neater and cleaner and easier if you just did it as a token system. Because people can more easily align themselves with a token system to know if I do this 200 times, I will get the drop I want. Because I will get 200 tokens. No, that's what I'm saying. Don't take it away. What I'm saying is every time you open a crate, you have an RNG chance to get a 5-5. You have an RNG chance to get it. You have an RNG chance, like right there. I picked up a deviation. I'm not saying take away the RNG. I'm saying add in on top of the RNG. But if you get it through the token system, it's bound to you. So that's where we don't take away anything of the person who got it through RNG, because they can sell theirs. That was one thing that always bothered me about Final Fantasy XI. You would, if you were lucky enough to get like Leaping Lizzie or the Emperor Dragonfly or the third one, there were 3 low-level notorious monsters that gave you an item that lasted all the way to level 75. If you were lucky enough to get it and be there for the kill, were you lucky enough to get the drop? Oh, Mary's Horn was the other one. It kind of sucked when you went through all the effort of hunting it and then you didn't get the drop. It was pretty demoralizing. Yeah, Foxhole, the logistics piece is really well thought out. It makes it, what it does is it creates the opportunity for people that just want to do logistics to have a place in the world. Which is good. What is he? Is he a truck driver in real life? Tell me he's a truck driver. Tell me he's a truck driver. Oh my god, that's awesome. That just makes my whole Saturday morning. What killed me? Oh shit, I can't even see. Did I get credit for my 3-hour drop? Because I want to make a steak sandwich. There's no traffic, so it's cool was one of his statements. That's awesome. My wife is taking my daughter to the movie theater tonight so she can watch the Elimination Chamber. My daughter is a crazy WWE fan. My daughter is crazy about that, and the Elimination Chamber can't be streamed. Or it can, and we don't have the ability to, so they're going up to the movie theater, seeing that on the big screen. I think that's really cool. I wish we had that when I was a I wish we had that when I was a WWF fan. Go to the movie theater to watch like WrestleMania. We had one kid's family who used to always buy the pay-per-views. And every other family would kick them like $5. And so we would all go to this one house to watch all the pay-per-views. So that was always cool. The teachers were cool with it too. Like they knew coming in the next day that we were all going to be fucking tired off our ass, and they left us alone. With that said, I do want to remind people that it seems like every single time in life that I am going to do a game stream, politics pops up. I know not everybody likes politics, but I think a big problem we have is that we don't pay enough attention to it. I think that we're doomed to have problems. You'll also notice that on the side, I now have my consolidated chat going on. I need to actually check it to make sure I have the right YouTube assigned to it. I think I do. Let me do that real quick. I am glad that Dan Clancy decided to, yep, there you go. So I have the consolidated chat set up now. So Dan Clancy made the right call. There's absolutely no reason to not have your consolidated chat. Twitch has nothing to lose, or nothing to win and everything to lose by forcing streamers to try to stay on the Twitch platform. The reason why people go to Kick is because they get paid by the hour to be on Kick. I think that is a big testament to people about why small and medium streamers want to get monetized on Kick, because it doesn't take that many people to be on Kick for you to make a living wage. There were so many creators doing shared chat already and nothing was being done to them, so why keep fighting it? You're right, and that brings up the other point. If you're not going to universally enforce your rules, then, yep, there's the test, Grumpy Old Man. There's the, if you're not going to universally enforce your rules, then don't enforce your rules at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? It rules for thee, but not for me, kind of sucks. So, anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I got some stuff I got to take care of. I got to make a sandwich, and then I will see you guys on Monday for more video games. No, Monday is politics. Oh shit, yeah, Monday's gonna be a gas because we're dealing with Iran on Monday.
I wonder if the organic meat sack that runs this channel knows a lot of these sponsors don't sponsor us anymore.
They were longtime sponsors. The credits are fine.
Do we get paid? Is any of this sponsorship money for Gale, Daisy, the Chaos Fund?
You are a figment of Jalan's imagination.